and welcome to the Sport Rep Show. I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha, unpacking the weekend events as they unfolded. Before we go to the weekend events, let us look at what's today's news-making headlines. And the news-making headlines is that the brave Gladiators assistant coach Mamie Kasaona has questioned her omission from the traveling delegation for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers tie against Zambia after just finding out that she is not on the list of the technical team that will lead the side against Zambia in a two-legged encounter to be played in Zambia and South Africa next week. I have been part of this team, and today I just found out in an email that I'm not part of the delegation, but they have instead put Robert Nauseb there, who was just named assistant coach last week, while I have been with the team all this time. Kasaona said, "Why did they not replace me with a woman instead of placing a man in my place?" NFA Secretary General Franco Cosmo said the powers lie with coach Woody Jacobs and not him to choose the delegation. Woody Jacobs, on the other hand, said he selected a technical team that he trusted, and because they can only be 6 due to financial constraints. That was the story about Mamie Kasaona. Well, in our next story, Dricus Coetzee and Vera Lucer showed what they are truly made of. Well, Dricus was capable of when he held on to his national road race title presented by Nedbank and the Namibia Cycle Federation by an impressive margin yesterday. The 28-year-old broke away from the front group to ride the final 70 kilometers of the challenging 152-kilometer route on his own, never allowing the chase group to come near him again. Promising under-23 winner Hugo Hahn, 19 years old, took second place ahead of Jean-Paul Berger, Ingram Cuff, and Gerard Mans Jr. were the third and fourth respectively. Vera Lucer also showed her class with another double on the weekend, taking the elite women's gold in both the 84-kilometer road race and the 21-kilometer time trial. This is what the two winners had to say.
Yeah, in general it was a good race. We started off very slow, very conservative, because we respected the distance. It's not every day that all of the riders go these distances. And then about after 20 kilometers the attacks went. I managed to cover everything, and then I think about 30 kilometers in I managed to do a good solid attack and took 8 guys with me, so we were in a breakaway of 8. And then on kilometer 87 kilometers to go, I attacked once again, and I just put the hammer down. I took the risk, and I went flat out for it to the line, and I'm over the moon that I managed to do a great performance today after my disappointment on Friday. But on that note, also I'd like to congratulate Jean-Paul Berger for taking the win in the time trial. I think he really deserves it. Unfortunately, my legs weren't there on Friday. I gave it a shot. He was a stronger rider. But then today, to just back it up in the way I did today is just phenomenal. And I think that shows my character from never giving up and mentally just, pushing through, and the breakthrough will come.
Yeah, of course, we all know that. You've previously also had some disappointments at this championship, so it must be a great feeling to win it once again.
Yeah, it's an awesome feeling, being runner-up in the time trial again. But then especially winning the national title, road race title, that's the big one, which everyone in the country wants to win. And I could not do this without my sponsors. I would like to thank each of them. The David Trust being my sponsor, and Pollard, and Theo Pharma, and DRG Biokinetics. All of them. Bunny's Bike Bega looking after my technical equipment support. So all of my sponsors, thank you for just backing me, believing me, and this one is for you, for all of my sponsors, just backing it up and showing that I'm still there, and hopefully getting a slot on the Commonwealth selection.
So how do you see the rest of this year progressing for you?
Well, next week we have the Nedbank Cycling Challenge, which I hope to have another great performance. And then from there on, the focus will probably be, if I make the Commonwealth Games, will be the Commonwealth Games time trial and road race. and then I'll be looking to going into some endurance racing, which suits me and my style. So yeah.
Yeah, the race was one of the best races I've done in Namibia. The course is really cool, full road closure, through town, lots of technical corners. The road was even wet in the morning when we started, and 3 punchy climbs per lap. So yeah, definitely made for an exciting race.
Okay, so how did it progress for you?
In the beginning we were still together, and then I tried to make a little bit hard on the climbs, and we lost a few riders. And then by the middle of the race I attacked again, tried to split the bunch to make a decision in the then already. I didn't want to take them all to the line, and there were 3 of us doing the last 4 laps or last 3 laps with Melissa and Courtney, and then in the final lap I attacked up Bank of Namibia, the first climb of the lap, and I got away, got a gap, and I just went hard to the finish. From there it was still 10 kilometers, and then I could take it home.
Yeah, great stuff. So what does this win mean to you?
It's always nice to win the national champs. It means you can wear the jersey at other races, and for me, racing in Europe, it's always special. Having the national jersey is always special. People look at you, they ask you where you're from, and because I'm really proud Namibian, I'm always proud to represent my country there.
So what other races are you working towards this year?
I'm actually doing more mountain bike marathon races. The first big season goal is the Cape Epic in March in Cape Town, or in the Western Cape. And then from there it's full focus on the Commonwealth Games if I make the qualification, which is not out yet. There's still 2 more qualification races left. One of them is the Cape Town Cycle Tour, which is also a big goal for me. I still have an open bill there. I finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and I really want the top step, but it's a super hard race. Let's see how it goes. That's in the middle of March. And then after the Cape Epic, I'll try to do some road races in Europe to prepare for the Commonwealth Games, and try to do well there.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. That was Trikas Kutsie and Vera Adrian there. Happiness, you are champions again. Well, it was indeed a fantastic race, and Andrew Pullman brought us those videos. Thank you, Pullman, for that. Well, on to our next story. Gunshots, food poisoning, and coronavirus challenges are some of the chilling ordeals that Robbie and his Gambian side encountered at the AFCON 2021. The former Namibia Media Holdings representing Elgermana Zeitung sports journalist Robert Michael Elgermeyer, commonly known as Robbie, landed a job in the Gambian national team. Robbie and his team made history by qualifying to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations for the first time, despite several challenges they faced during the competition. Well, Robbie says that it was quite difficult there. There was a day while he was in the camp where shots were fired at him, not at him actually, but at a place close to where they were. They always had to walk with the military presence due to the tension in Cameroon. Well, he also says one of the saddest things that shrouded the competition was the fact that at least 8 people were reported dead. That was over a stampede at the Yaoundé Olympus Stadium that was in Cameroon as well. Robbie is currently back in Germany, and he says that he met Tom Sanford during his time in Namibia. Tom Sanford is the coach of the Gambian national team. Well, Robbie, thank you so much. Don't forget to catch that part 2 that is in the Namibian Sun newspaper tomorrow. That was from Robbie. Players and coaches who gathered at the Top Score 7-a-side competition in Windhoek expressed gratitude towards the event organizers of the Top Score 7-a-side competition, which commenced on Friday evening at the Rambler Sports Field, with several corporate teams battling out for the ultimate 13,000 Namibian dollar winning prize. Here is what one of the players had to say.
It is indeed a very, very beautiful evening here, and I can see it's all smiles from the Agra team. I don't know how you guys played, but I can see that there is smiles. Yeah. Indeed. Can you tell me, how did you assess the game and how are you guys feeling right now?
It was quite a challenging first match to start off with. I guess my team and I have to work on our fitness for sure. But overall, it was quite a nice gathering. Seeing to it that COVID kept us restricted and everything. So this was a very eventful
Eventful space,
to,
yeah.
to kind of interact with other people, and also
Okay.
just to kind of keep the body moving.
Okay, Tommy, going forward, where do you want to see your team, Agra? I mean, are you here to win the tournament, or are you just here to compete?
No, most definitely. We want to win the game or the whole tournament at home. But there are some things that we have to work on, especially our fitness and our communication as well within the field. But other than that, the guys are well in spirit. I'm sure we can take this.
Any word of thanks to the sponsors and anyone that made this possible?
Yeah, no. Thank you so much. I mean, like I said, COVID kept us home, and this is a great excuse to be out. But we should also just remember to take precautions and wear our masks and stuff like that. So thank you guys for all this. This was quite needed, actually.
Well, I can assure you that the top score 7-a-side is not only just there for the boozers, but you can see that there is top quality competition from the players themselves on the field. You could see several former Premier League players also in action. That was on Friday night at the Rambler Sports Field. The competition will go on throughout the month of February and probably late in March. These are corporate companies battling it out for a top place. The excitement at the field was quite remarkable. Everyone was excited that football is back, and at least they are able to showcase their talent. It is also a very serious league, and you can see that everyone was trying to adhere at least to the coronavirus restrictions that are there. I spoke to many players who were very, very excited indeed with the return of this competition. Well, from football on to motocross, the first leg of the National Motocross Championship, which took place at the Galena Park, north of the capital, delivered the usual thrills and action in all 8 classes as promised. Well, the talented David du Plessis scooped the overall first place in the MX5 class, 50cc for the beginners, while Color Brand came in second, with third Delma du Plessis in third. Well, we look at the highlights of some of the top events. In the mix of the 65 class C50-65, Kian Cotter took first place, proved to be, and the second place was John William Bronkhorst and Elenda Metzera. It was indeed a very, very special occasion that was at the event. In Heat 2, the third place of the 2021 defending champion Juan Dafas took a bad fall in a heat and ended in the Heat 2 and managed to clinch third place in Heat 3 of the MX125. It was indeed fantastic action, as some of the young boys in the competition were excited and thrilled to be there. Many of the cyclists there at the competition said that they were ready to pump the adrenaline, and it was indeed the case, as most of them took the falls at some of the highest steps. But as well, parents were there, gathered there to actually support their little ones as they were riding for success at the competition. It was indeed one of the Anton twins, Anton and Greg Gebhard Meiber, respectively, ended the first and third overall, with Bijon Cable second. Anton won Heat 1 and came in second in Heat 2. In the first 3, Dylan Hilfiger won Heat 2 but could not finish that Heat 3 as well. The weather was actually together there at the Galena field, as many of those families came to watch their athletes or the cyclists, the bikers, compete at the top highest level. You can see these athletes jump over and over. It was indeed a fantastic one. Well, thank you so much for that. It was indeed a very, very special competition. Of course, we saw the Namibian Media Holdings covering this event live, and everyone was very excited to witness this. We will now cross over that to Spotify before we go on with the proceedings of Sport Rep. We'll be back.
And succeed with PST Bet.
So, where were we?
PST Bet. You play, we pay. Not for persons under the age of 18.
It's going to spin out to Morris now, and it's tucked home!
Get in! Who scored? I did.
Sports fans know whether you bet a little or a lot with PST Bet, you're not just watching, you're playing.
Yes! Who won? Me!
And with over 1 million paid out to winners each month, your life can get very interesting. So kick things off by going to pstbet.com. And if you don't get your winnings within one business day, we'll double it. Why watch when you can play at pstbet.com?
It's going to spin out to Morris now, and it's tucked home!
Get in! Who scored? I did.
Sports fans know whether you bet a little or a lot with PST Bet, you're not just watching, you're playing.
Yes! Who won? Me!
And with over 1 million paid out to winners each month, your life can get very interesting. So kick things off by going to pstbet.com. And if you don't get your winnings within one business day, we'll double it. Why watch when you can play at pstbet.com?
Good day, viewers, and welcome back to yet another exciting and awesome segment of Spotify. My name is Desiree Gassis, and I will be taking you through the youth sports that took place this weekend. So firstly, we head over to the Independence Stadium in Windhoek, where there was a quality performance, and the energy in the atmosphere was so exciting as the Athletics Namibia Grand Prix Series resumed on Windhoek's Independence Stadium. The Grand Prix League number 3 took place on the 5th of February. The athletics started off with men's 5,000 meters, and there was also javelin, there was short put, there was high jump, and we got a moment to catch up with the athletics organizer, which was Bethel Karamendu. So stay tuned for that interview.
My name is Bethel Karamendu. I'm the competition director for today's competition. To see the whole organization of the competition going according to the technical rules of World Athletics, and to see that all logistics things are in place for this competition. And as you can see, this morning we started with the men 5,000, followed by the men and women short hurdles. Now the 1,500 just finished. Now we are busy with the 400 meters, men and women as well. As you can see on my right here is the javelin men that they are throwing. High expectation of the senior men javelin that are throwing very well. And early they did the shot put men. And early the women did the discus women, and the high jump also completed. They are busy with the men long jump now. It's Grand Prix Leg 3. You know, we are very positive regarding this competition as an athletics family, and we want to give our athletes the opportunity to compete. you know, they were in the absence of competition due to the impact of COVID-19 for the previous 2 years. There were no competition, and now even the traveling to go out to compete is quite challenge. So we are organizing legs for our athletes to compete towards our national championship, and this is the way they can build their times. And as we are aware, we have a big lineup in terms of international competitions. We have the African Championship in June in Mauritius. We have the World Championship in Oregon, state of Oregon in Eugene, USA. And then we have the Commonwealth Games July, August in UK, Birmingham. So the expectation is very high towards our athletes, and the expectation of times are also very high. But the times to come, you need to have competitive throughout towards our national. And our national championship will take place on the 2nd and the 3rd of April. So we have still 2 months preparations, and the athletes have still 2 months preparation. Then the next leg, leg 4 will be in Rietfontein, 19 February, and then leg 5 will be in Oshakati, 5 March. And then from there, the athletes have to prepare for the national championship.
Moving on now, this weekend was filled with quite a lot of school athletics. So firstly, we'll be looking at some youth athletics that took place at Windhoek High School that was hosted, or they hosted their 65th athletics, which took place on the 5th to the 6th of February. The event was hosted at the Windhoek High School sports field, and one could sense the excitement in the air as the last time Windhoek High School held their inter-house athletics was in 2019. All the learners participated from grade 8 to grade 12 and they took part in various sports as well. We got a moment to talk to Mr. Engels, which is the principal of Windhoek High School. So stay tuned for that little interview.
Right, good morning. I'm Mamie Engels. I'm the principal of Windhoek High School. And yeah, what a privilege. This is our inter-house competition number 65. In this format. Spartak, wag 'n bietjie, kan nie dood. And it's quite interesting. Today is the birthday of the school, 5th of February 1917. So our school is today 105 years old. And yeah, I think the purpose of the inter-high for us is because in Windhoek High School we believe that it is a holistic development of our learners, and we see sport as very much integrated with the development of our learners. And therefore the competition between the three teams basically is about sportsmanship, to build relationships, and I think at the end of the day is to persevere, because some of these learners are not full-time athletes or specialized in athletics. And for us, for them to participate in the process is equally important. So it is a total team effort. And then lastly, I think what is important is that it's a team spirit. If you look at the spirit of the team, it is absolutely excellent.
While heading onto some more athletics, we also attended the Windhoek Afrikaans Private School, or VAP, athletics. And as you can see in some of these amazing shots, COVID-19 hasn't been a barrier for the Windhoek Afrikaans Private School learners to showcase their athletics capabilities. This was a 2-day event that started on the Friday and went until on the Saturday afternoon, which was the 5th of February. So here is a short interview that we had with the sports organizer, Mr. Johan.
Hi, goeiemôre. My naam is Johan Simon. Ek is in beheer van die sport by die Windhoek Affies. En soos jy kan sien, is ons besig met ons interreis. Moet sê dit is 'n fantastiese 2 dae. As mens kyk na die weer, ons kan sien die kinders geniet dit net weer om vir 'n slag 'n bietjie sport te kan doen. Ons het gister met ons laerskool hierso, meeste van ons kinders was laerskoolie gewees, hulle klaar gemaak en dit was heelwat ouers om die dag te geniet en dit was net goed om te sien dat die kindertjies hardloop. Vandag sluit ons nou af met ons hoërskoolkinders, maar sover loop alles baie vlot en ons is baie dankbaar vir alles. spesiaal dankie sê vir ons personeel wat so hard werk en so goed doen en dan vir Hollard wat ons borg is by Winter Kaffies vir ons inreis atletiek. Net sê baie dankie vir die geleentheid.
Well, viewers, that is it from us on Spotify today. We look forward to seeing you on Thursday as we bring you the youth sporting activities that will take place over the weekend. And remember to also stay tuned on our social media pages as we bring you updates for the weekend coming news. So we head over to you, Jesse.
It's going to spin out to Morris now, and it's tucked home!
Get in! Who scored? I did.
Sports fans know whether you bet a little or a lot with PSD Bet, you're not just watching, you're playing.
Yes! Who won? Me!
And with over 1 million paid out to winners each month, your life can get very interesting. So kick things off by going to psdbet.com. And if you don't get your winnings within one business day, we'll double it. Why watch when you can play at psdbet.com?
You play and they pay. That's sport. PST Sports Bet. That's a premium sports trading company, the betting company that's sponsoring this segment. And today they are giving something away again, and that is to a lady. Well, her name is Matilda Joseph, and you can see there she was obviously recommended by someone. She has her friend is that she moved to Otavi where she got a job, worked almost for 3 years, and started a life there. She met the father of her kids there too. She has twins and a boy and a girl. Nothing to feed her kids with an abusive alcoholic. Well, some of this stuff as so she would really need help. So that's the person that PSD Bet are going to help now. I would just like to call her live on air and see whether she will be able to answer. Well, it is unfortunate that we can't get hold of Matilda Joseph at the moment, but she is the winner, and definitely something will get to her courtesy of PST Bet as their social corporate responsibility. Now we cross over to our correspondent in South Africa. That's Ari Wogar, who will give us some international news. Over to you, Ari.
Good day, everyone. It's time to look at international sport. Hope you had a great sporting weekend. Lots happening all over the globe, and let's start with the Olympic Games. The Winter Olympic Games is happening in Beijing at the moment. It's the 24th Winter Olympics, and lots of action happening there at the moment. The opening ceremony was on Friday, and results we can look at first is some of the figure skating. And in figure skating, let's look at the women's section. And there's a new sensation. It's a 15-year-old Russian, Kamila Valieva is her name, and she did great in the teams event. It was Russia, she's from Russia, and it was Russia that won the teams event with the USA second and Japan in third place. But the focus is on Valieva. She's 15 years old, and she accomplished something very unique. She became the first women's figure skater to perform a quadruple jump, and that's quite significant. A quadruple jump is 4 rotations of the body mid-air, so it's 4 rotations of the body in mid-air. A great achievement by her, and she's also the early favorite for the individual women's event. On to some cross-country skiing as well in the 15-kilometer event. That's quite long for them to do. It was over an hour and a half. It is Russian Olympic team member Alexander Botlilova, and he was the winner in the 15-kilometer cross-country men's event, and in second place was his countryman also from Russia, Denis Spitsov. And in the women's 7.5 kilometer, that was also cross-country skiing, it is Teresa Juhang from Norway that came in first, and it was a tight race for her, but she held off the Russian challenge of Natalia Nepreveva. Now for some soccer news, and everybody would have followed, most people would have followed the African Cup of Nations. It's a big tournament, Africa's proud tournament, to determine the best soccer team in the continent. And it was a final between Senegal and Egypt, and it was Senegal that came out winners in penalties in the end, 4-2. News from the tournament is that Sadio Mane was named the top. He got the top prize at the tournament. He was named the player of the tournament. So a great achievement by Sadio Mane, and he was also a team member of the Senegal team that lost in the previous African Cup of Nations against Algeria in the final. So it was great for him to at least be on the winning side, and it was the first win ever for Senegal in the African Cup of Nations. So a great achievement for them. Third and fourth place playoff also took place over the weekend. It was the host Cameroon that came back from 3 goals down to beat Burkina Faso in penalties. They made it 3-3 in normal time, and in penalties it was 5-3 in favor of Cameroon. So at least the host got something to show from hosting a great tournament, the African Cup of Nations 2022 in Cameroon. Some rugby news as well. The Six Nations, the Heineken Six Nations started, and it was a tough day for defending champions Wales. They didn't do too well on the first day. They played away to Ireland in Dublin, and they lost by 29 points to 7. So a big loss for Wales in the first game. A great performance by Ireland to win. But news also from the tournament is that the rugby coach of England, Eddie Jones, is not happy with the refereeing. England lost in Edinburgh in Scotland. They lost against Scotland by 20 points to 17. But Eddie Jones afterwards in the media conference said that he might also do what Rassie Erasmus did by putting together a video showing out all the mistakes that the referee made. But I think it was tongue in the cheek, because Rassie Erasmus got a 2-year ban for doing that. The other game from the weekend was France that played at home against Italy. France winners by 37 points to 10 in that game that was played in Paris. Now for some cricket news, and news from Australia is that the cricket coach Justin Langer surprisingly quit. He decided to step down as coach of Australia's national cricket team. That was a big surprise, especially after Australia quite convincingly beat England in the recent Ashes series, and also last year November won the T20 World Cup. But it seems like Justin Langer didn't have the backing of his board and also some of the senior players. There's speculation that he might replace Chris Silverwood of England coach. That's all just speculation at the moment. That will really frustrate the Australians if an Australian go and coach England. But Chris Silverwood, the England coach, was sacked by England Cricket. That was after losing the Ashes in Australia. And also news from the cricket world is that India won the ICC Under-19 title. That was when they beat England by 4 wickets, and that final was played in the West Indies, and that was the 5th title for India in the ICC Under-20 Championship. And let's close off the international news with golf news. It is golf news from the Saudi International Golf Tournament played in Saudi Arabia, and it was American Harold Varner III that in dramatic style won the tournament on the 18th green. He succeeded with a putt of 36 meters across the green on the 18th for an eagle 3, and that took him to a total of -13, and he beat his countryman Bubba Watson by 1 shot. Bubba Watson earlier also eagled the 18th to go at -12. So with that, I conclude for international sporting news for today. Have a great day, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Well, thank you so much, Ari, for that international news right there. I'm sure one of the highlights of the weekend was the win between the match between Senegal and Egypt, where the Lions of Teranga managed to beat the Egyptians. That was by 4-2. That was on penalties. Quite a cagey affair there, a tense affair, but it was indeed the Senegalese first trophy, major trophy that's in Africa. Congratulations to Coach Aliou Cisse, who was a captain of the team in 2002 when they went to the World Cup. well, congratulations to the Senegalese. Sadio Mane as well. I'm sure the Liverpool fans were happy with that. Well, that is it from me, Jesse Jackson Kauraitha. Don't forget to catch us again tomorrow. That's at the same time, same place. Ciao.